morning, everyone. I'm Fred Farrell, board chair here at the Chamber. First, I want to both welcome you, but also ask you, please turn off cell phones or put them on buzz. And if you would, please stand now and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, I'd like to introduce some of our public officials that are here this morning. And I'm going to start with two members of our Board of Supervisors. Supervisor John Zaragoza for this district. And even though you have staff aides here, Stan Haight is also listed as your staff here. And then also Supervisor Kathy Long. Oxnard Councilman Brian McDonald. We also have an Oxnard Planning Commissioner, Steve Huber. And another Planning Commissioner, Sonny Okeda. From the Port of Wainimi, we have Commissioner Marianne Rooney. And I see here we also have a Chamber endorsed candidate for treasurer. Al Jones is here. I'd like to also acknowledge our chair. Yes, Brian.
We also have Planning Commissioner Orlando Dozier here.
Apologies. At this time, I'd like to get to the acknowledging of our Chairman's Club members. You have a program at your seat, and if you look at the back page, you will see various logos. These are the people who support this program, make these kind of events possible, so please give them your business and patronize them. And then also, if we have any board members from the Chamber here, and I know we do, if they would please stand at this time, and we'll acknowledge them collectively. I'd like to introduce at this time our sponsor for this event, and Ann Phil from Food Share is going to come up here and give us a few words.
Good morning. I'm Anna with Food Share, Ventura County's Regional Food Bank. And thank you for all of you this morning who let me accost you before we started with the orange plates. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see that, this month, September, is Hunger Action Awareness Month. And 1 in 6 people in Ventura County are still food insecure, and we're working on closing that gap. I'll be presenting at the supervisors meeting with my team on Tuesday, and we're working on paper plates. We're putting a quilt together that we're going to be presenting to the supervisors. So if you have a moment after and you'd like to take a paper plate, or if you'd like to take a picture with an orange plate, come see me or my team. We'd love to have you be a part of it. And also coming up on September 15th, we have our first event, our first fundraiser that we ourselves are putting on, and it's the Blue Jean Ball. It's going to be in Moore Park at Walnut Grove, and it's going to be lots of fun. Casually get to come in your jeans, no ties necessary, no dresses, just fun. And Jen, if you want to buy tickets today, she has those. But I did want to take a moment today and say how important it is and how hard we work with the community and how we couldn't do it without you. It takes a community to serve the community and to feed the community. We work with over 200 partnering agencies throughout the county to feed close to 74,000 people per month. And that's 1 million pounds of food. And we work with retail partners, we work with agricultural partners, individual contributions, we work closely with the Port of Wainimi, and we couldn't do it without the people in the room and people like you, so thank you.
Thank you, Ann, and thanks again for hosting this morning. At this time I'm going to introduce our moderator, Bruce Stenson. Bruce is the president of the Economic Development Collaborative of Ventura County, and I'd also like to ask any candidates for mayor to come up to the stage at this time and take a seat here on the dais.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much, Fred and Nancy and the Chamber staff and Chamber members and everybody for putting this important forum together. It's incredibly important that all of us have come together to participate in hearing from candidates, but especially hearing from the candidates around issues pertaining to business. It's an exciting time for the city, exciting time for all of us. Thanks for being here. Mostly, though, I want to thank the candidates for being here. It's not easy to be a candidate. It's an enormous commitment. It's a sacrifice, and we are all honored and appreciate your efforts in doing this. We have one more just joining us. So the thing is, when we go through this, and I'll just stretch just for a second, is to say, we'll have a great opportunity to hear different points of view, different opinions, different ideas on how the city can move forward, especially as pertains to business. And in some cases, the audience and your peers will agree with you and sometimes disagree with you. But far more important than that is the opportunity for the exchange of ideas, which enriches us all. And it's a huge opportunity for us to grow as a community. So let's get on to the rules. Mayoral candidates first. We're going to run through a series of questions with you folks, take a very short break to do a shift and bring the city council candidates up. Here's the miserable news in this, because we have a fairly short amount of time and a fairly large number of candidates. We get 1 minute each on each of the questions. So what I'm going to do is go right down the line. Each of you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself in an opening statement. Then we've got 5 questions, 1 minute each. We'll go down the line and alternate who gets first on each of those. And then you'll have a closing statement for 1 minute each as well. So we're serious about the 1 minute. For those of you who don't know Nancy Lindholm, she would be the charming person in the back holding 2 colored pieces of paper. Yellow means you got 15 seconds left of your 1 minute. Red means you're done at 1 minute. And my role here, besides reading the questions, is to be the rude person who says, if you're at a minute, I'm cutting you off and I'm asking the next question. I really don't want to have to do that, but I appreciate that 1 minute is extremely tight. So, are we good? Candidates, thanks so much. We got the rules down. Let's start with candidate Mr. Flynn. 1 minute, please, on your opening statement.
Thank you very much, and good morning, and I'm sorry for my late arrival. I'd like to thank the Chamber for sponsoring this breakfast, and also the 2 gentlemen that are sitting to the left of me that have decided to run for the position of mayor. I think it's healthy and it's good that there's opposition, and anytime you're seeking a political office, ideally people don't want opponents, but ultimately it makes the process, it makes the candidates, the incumbent and the candidates and the challengers a lot better, and it really does help the city. So as the incumbent mayor for the last 4 years, am in essence running on my record. And there's not one person in this room that's not aware of what's happened in the city of Oxnard over the past several years. I'm already getting the yellow card. It's that quick. So I'm running in essence on my record. We're rebuilding Oxnard's government. There's not one department in the city of Oxnard that wasn't left in a state of disarray, I've just told. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, 1 minute, please, opening statement.
My name is Miguel Lopez, taking the opportunity to introduce myself. I see many familiar faces and a lot of new faces that I look to have an opportunity to speak to. Let me tell you why I'm running for mayor. For many of us, I think we recognize the attractions and the opportunities that our community has to offer. I think everyone in this room, more than anybody, understands the tremendous potential of our community. For many reasons, that's why you have brought your companies here, that's why you yourself perhaps relocated here, because Oxnard has so much to offer. I know it, I've seen it, I've lived it for the past 35 years. I'm running because I'm concerned. I think that we are at a crossroads in many respects with many of the challenges that we have here in Oxnard. Some are unique to us, and others, we share with communities across the state and throughout the country. I'm running to restore trust and leadership in City Hall, in the office of the mayor, because I believe that without trust, you cannot govern. So I look forward to the conversation today. Like the mayor, I thank my colleagues up here for the opportunity to join you today.
Opening statement, please, Mr. Sepulveda.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Armando Sepulveda, and I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Oxnard. And yes, I do believe that Oxnard is the greatest city to live in. I have over 20 years of experience in leadership positions, working for Fortune 500 companies such as PetSmart and Ross, managing budgets and turning around districts and stores that have been mismanaged and unprofitable. I will bring over 20 years of proven business leadership experience, and I will work with the business community, the residents, and the city council to move this city forward. What sets me apart is that I have the experience to drive revenue, to deliver results for shareholders, and I will do the same for the residents of Oxnard, to help meet the needs that are not being met today. And that's why I seek your support. And that's why I want to be the next mayor for the city of Oxnard, to have transparency and ensure that we bring back the trust that's needed at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start our series of 5 questions. I'm going to begin again with Mr. Flynn, and then after that, alternate each of these. The first question is, how can City Council become more effective at decision-making, for example, not carrying forward agenda items for weeks at a time, not taking hours on a single agenda item?
Well, it's an excellent question, and certainly as a full-time teacher, I like to get to bed early and not stay up till midnight doing the city's business. But arguably, the city has had more before on its plate in the last year to 2 years than it's ever had in all the time that I've served on the city council. And so I've actually hit up the Policies and Procedures Committee on the council level so that we can actually limit the staff presentations, limit the council discussion, and also the public input so that we can get through the agenda in a more expeditious manner. And we've actually been very successful. Even in my early term on the city council, there were times, and it would be an exception, that we would go till 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 in the morning. There's a lot more discussion, and I believe that discussion is necessary and it's healthy, but in essence, we got to get the city's business done. So we've had a lot to do in the last 2 years. We're getting it done, and I'll make sure that those meetings are run even more efficiently in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, same question. City council meetings more effective in decision-making, not carrying items forward, not taking hours on a single item. Thank you.
Certainly. Well, I can't take credit for this, but over the years and the last 3 years, I was actually an employee with the city of Oxnard as a community affairs manager with one of the busiest departments in the city. So I know firsthand also, quite frankly, the workload that city staff carry. In large part because we are short-staffed throughout the city. We have over 100 vacancies throughout the city, and that quite frankly affects operation, it affects service delivery, and quite frankly folks have said that they've noticed that council goes and dilly-dally delays. We've seen what we have when we're not focused on the challenges immediately ahead of us. And they are many. I think in moments like that, we need bold leadership. We need people who are going to be able to set the tone, who are going to be able to support staff, and who are going to be able to really go out there and inform the community and stakeholders so that when we are at these meetings, they are far more expeditiously and efficient.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Sepulveda, same question. How can City Council become more effective at its decision-making?
I will say that being, I'm sure, a member of the City Council, it is an awesome responsibility. It's a lot that has to be done. Working in corporate America and working for different companies, you have to be well informed of the issues because every decision that you make at the end of the day is going to affect our residents, our business owners. It's going to affect everybody in the city. I don't know necessarily that there is a quick solution to say that we have to make abrupt decisions when it comes to taxpayers' money. But what I do say is we have to be well informed on the issues. All the city council members need to make sure that they're doing their homework, understanding the issues, being able to come into the meetings already with questions and decision-making ability. It is difficult at times to make those decisions, though.
Thank you. Let's move to our second question. And for this one, I'll start with Candidate Lopez. What can you do effectively to educate and persuade state and federal lawmakers to vote for business-friendly legislation?
Great answer. You know, like the mayor said, we've gone through a period of reorganization throughout the city, and with that, we've actually eliminated some positions and have consolidated others. One of those positions that I'm most, I'll say concerned about, quite frankly from my experience at the state and federal level, is that of a person managing the legislative and affairs portfolio for the city. Right now, we don't have anyone leading that portfolio. Previously, it was absorbed by one of the deputy city managers, and like I mentioned, that position was eliminated a year ago. There is certainly a lot more that we can do to work with our state and federal representatives, and that's the experience I bring to the table. The network, extended network of contacts throughout the state, throughout the federal government, to really try and bring these resources that we need, especially with infrastructure. One of the topics that I hope that we get into today is, quite frankly, working with our representatives to try and be competitive with the grants, both at the state and federal level when it comes to infrastructure, which communities across the country are going to be facing, as well as the state level with other opportunities as well.
Thank you. Mr. Sepulveda, what can you do effectively to educate and persuade state and federal lawmakers to vote for business-friendly legislation?
I think it all starts working with everybody here in this room, all the Chamber of Commerce members. As a group, cohesively, we have to be able to unite and talk with those state representatives to make sure that they understand where we are as a business community and what we need to do to help drive the city forward. At the end of the day, what drives a city is tax base and is the tax revenue. That's what generates it. And we can't help our citizens if we can't generate that tax revenue. And the only way of really doing it is by persuading them to ensure that they understand that everybody here at the Chamber of Commerce is a stakeholder. We have to work together. We have to be able to convince them. And yes, we will network, and we will network with everybody that we need to. You know, just like Miguel stated, that's perfect. That's what we need to do. But at the end of the day, they have to understand that if we're going to help the citizens of Oxnard, it's going to be by growing businesses.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn, what can you do effectively to educate and persuade state and federal lawmakers to vote for business-friendly legislation?
Well, I believe it starts locally. So when it comes to business and growing business in the city of Oxnard, obstacles that we've faced in the past that we believe that there is a solution on the state or the federal level, but most often it's the state level. It's having access to those lawmakers in Sacramento, and I have an excellent example of it. Water is an essential component to the success of business in this community. And most recently, we hit a snag with the Great Water program starting delivering recycled water, because the salinity management pipeline, the SMP, was not going to be allowed by the State Water Resources Board. So we went to Jackie Irwin. We implored her to help us out with the State Water Resources Board. She was successful at doing so, and as a result of it now, we're delivering water to many of our customers throughout the Oxnard Plain. But when it really comes down to it, we got to take a look at what we're doing locally when it comes to business and how we can get those state lawmakers to assist us in our efforts.
Thank you. We're going to move to the next question, third question, starting with Mr. Sepulveda. How do you address the city's human resources challenges and all of the unfilled positions in the city?
That's a great question. First off, let me say that I was concerned when I heard that as a city, we didn't have a true human resources department structured, and we had a lot of vacancies. I'm happy to say that the city manager has currently taken the lead at working at recruiting and staffing those critical positions. A city cannot function, or any business can't function, unless you have a strong human resources department that is able to recruit the best talent and the most qualified talent for those positions that are available to help lead any organization. I believe we have to continue to recruit. We have to look from within to see who we have that can step up. And if we don't, then we need to work with other organizations, and whether we recruit from outside of the organization, whether we go to other universities, colleges, how do we get the talent? We need to bring it into the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn, same question. How do you address the city's human resources challenges and all of the unfilled positions in the city?
So the city of Oxnard in the past 6 months has had up to 150 vacancies, and part of the problem is not only filling those positions, but people retire, and so the retirements have even led, the ability to recruit. So what the city manager has done is appoint the assistant city manager, Maria Hurtado, to oversee the human resources department. We hired a temp firm. Right now we're currently recruiting for 125 out of those 150 positions, and we expect all of those positions to be hired in the next 6 months.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, how do you address the city's human resources challenges and all of the unfilled positions in the city?
Certainly. It's problematic that even now we don't have a full-time director of human resources. That too we had to outsource, to a consultant to kind of help us move that part of our operation of our organization forward. I think that we need to do more to align our priorities, not only with business, to better understand the needs of your businesses, the future workforce projections. What is it that you all are going to need in 10 years from now, in 15 years from now, in 20 years from now? Because we need to start creating an environment for youth, for children, for our children in this community to be able to grow up in a strong community, to be able to enter for these jobs that we're all going to need to be able to move our city forward. I'll tell you a quick story before Nancy puts the yellow card. There it is. When I got back, I visited schools, and one of the things I quickly realized in talking to students to kind of see how much had changed, how much had not changed, was that we're not providing an environment in the community for our youth to be able to develop their talents for these positions that we need.
So thank you. That was question 3. Continuing this rotation, Mr. Flynn, this one comes back to you for the first opportunity. Question 4, it's a little longer, bear with me. Oxnard has one of the highest population growth rates in the county, and some sections of the city suffer from overcrowding. How do you propose to accommodate the city's growth and housing needs, and at the same time protect and improve our neighborhood quality of life?
So it's an excellent question. There's nothing that I've been more passionate about in the 10 years that I've been on the city council than the elimination of substandard housing and in particular overcrowding. And it took me 10 years, but finally, after 10 years, I have a majority of the council that's agreed that we need, in the city of Oxnard, a rental inspection program. We have some areas of town where upwards to 30 and 40 people live in a place that's only for one family. And there is a housing crisis, there's no question about it. But Oxnard, for a long time, ignored this problem. We also need to have a competent level and or number of code enforcement people that can actually do the job. But this rental inspection program is right now underway. It's an experimental program right now. We're doing this in the Southwinds neighborhood, which arguably is the most impacted by overcrowding. But again, there's nothing that I've been more passionate about than eliminating overcrowding in the city of Oxnard.
Thank you. We're going to move to Mr. Lopez coming down the line here. Same question, I'll repeat it. Oxnard has one of the highest population growth rates in the county, and some sections of the city suffer from overcrowding. How do you propose to accommodate the city's growth and housing needs, and at the same time protect and improve our neighborhood quality of life?
Great question. Projections show that Oxnard is going to grow approximately 60,000 new residents in the future. As leaders of this organization and of the city, we need to, quite frankly, know that that's the direction that we're heading. It's natural, it's normal population growth, but in terms of housing and trying to work with the community to improve the quality of life, that's one area where I have that expertise, I'll tell you. Running one of the busiest community affairs offices for the entire city, everything that I did had a 3-pronged approach. 1, to inform residents, 2, to educate residents, and 3, to empower residents to be partners in the city, to really try and seize those opportunities. Not only seize, but even before that, at times to see. Any great leader, I think, inspires folks, and we need to go out there and inspire folks to not only see what's possible, but to seize those opportunities wherever they may exist. In terms of the city staff, like the mayor mentioned, we have 2 code enforcement folks for the whole city, and we need to do more.
Mr. Sepulveda, Oxnard, same question, has one of the highest population growth rates in the county, and some sections of the city suffer from overcrowding. How do you propose to accommodate the city's growth and housing needs, and at the same time protect and improve our neighborhood quality of life?
Great, thank you so much. First off, let me start by saying that Mayor Flynn made some great comments. There are opportunities to get those code enforcers out there and to try to eliminate the 30 people per household, etc. My belief, though, is that it's much deeper than that. It's not about getting code enforcers, it's not about going out there and trying to get people out. It's about really facing our housing crisis that we have as a city. And the reality is that we're a big city with a semi-small town mentality, and we have to continue to grow. And we have to be able to provide smart and affordable housing for our residents here in Oxnard. And it doesn't matter how many people we put out there to try and eliminate it. The reality is it's an economic factor. And we need to get those houses. We have to face the real issue and look for the root cause and not just focus on a presenting problem. Thank you.
Thank you. This will be our fifth and final question before we go to a final statement from each of you. I'm going to start on this one with Mr. Lopez. What is your plan to spur economic development in the city of Oxnard?
First, I think work a lot closer with everyone in this room and with the Oxnard Chamber as well as with EDCO, to be honest with you. Right now, the mayor has said that economic development is a priority, one of the top 4 priorities for the city. Well, let me tell you that if that is the case, we only have one full-time person in this city focused on economic development, and that is a problem for a city of our size. So first of all, really support the economic development department within the city, but quite frankly, work closer in concert, in parallel, and in sync with the business community, with the Oxnard Chamber, who does a phenomenal job with advocacy, as well as EDCO, to try and not only outreach to new businesses, but quite frankly, support and create a business-friendly environment within the city to allow for us and our businesses to grow, because when businesses succeed, the community will succeed.
Thank you. Mr. Sepulveda, the same question. What is your plan to spur economic development in the city of Oxnard?
Thank you. Great question. First off, all the answers are here. It's here in this room. Every one of you here are entrepreneurs and are business owners. And the reality is that we have the ability here to start working and creating jobs. The city of Oxnard is one of the most desirable places to live in Ventura County. It offers a lot of great amenities to attract large corporations to come here as well and help set up their facilities here. Mayor Flynn commented about that on his speech yesterday, which I agree. I mean, he's worked hard to try and attract those businesses. As the mayor, one of the things that I'm going to do is not just talk about it, but let's go out there, let's bring them. Let's bring those businesses here to the city. Let's work with all the entrepreneurs out there, make it easy to establish your business. Like Mayor Flynn indicated, it's a one-stop shop, and let's continue to grow and move forward.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn, what is your plan to spur economic development in the city of Oxnard?
Well, I don't just think it's one thing, but many of you here in this room were in attendance in the State of the City address this past year, where the one-stop shop has been a focus of mine since I became mayor, and that is that the city has to do everything possible to not inhibit businesses from growing, do anything to overregulate, and in particular to make sure that when a person applies for a permit, they apply for a license, it's done in a fast, it's done quickly, and not only quickly, that we make sure that the city is not going to be an obstacle to business growth, yet we're going to be a facilitator. Secondly, my former colleague Dean Mulhart's here in the room. He and my former colleagues started a great thing in the city of Oxnard with a commercial revolution. That in River Park, which is extremely successful. We need to continue to see that through, and also Wagon Wheel, which will have 50,000 square feet of retail space. We have a lot of things in place right now that we're now completing.
Thank you. Thank all of you. We are to the final closing statement. I'm going to reverse it a little bit. We're going to go down the line this way, starting with Mr. Sepulveda, Mr. Lopez, and then Mr. Flynn. So first, Mr. Sepulveda, your closing statement in 1 minute.
First, I want to thank everybody for being here today and for giving me this opportunity. And let me just say that this is going to be a very critical election. This is really about leadership at the end of the day. And I want you to think about this. I have 20 years experience in leadership and management in Fortune 500 companies. I can drive results. I know what it takes to move the city forward and to do what's required and do what's needed. I truly believe in business. I believe that business creates jobs, creates tax base, creates what we need to continue to prosper as a city. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a very tough decision for everybody. But think about leadership and think about what is needed to move the city forward. Do we want a life or a career politician or someone who has the best interest of everyone else in the community in mind? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez.
There's no doubt that the last 4 years have been a challenging one for everyone in our community, from folks in the business community to families, and quite frankly, neighborhoods throughout the city. 2 years ago, or a year ago I should say, we were told that the city was on the brink of insolvency, that we were going to be bankrupt, that we were going to follow in that same trajectory that many cities throughout the state had followed. I'll tell you that many of those things have not materialized, and we are not in any better place. Crime has increased 67% in the last 2 years, and that's of concern because if businesses don't feel safe, if families don't feel safe, it really stifles our potential. And that's why I'm running for mayor, to really inspire, to motivate, and to help our community realize our potential. Like I said, any great leader will not only see opportunities in crisis, but they will seize it. And I'm running for mayor to be able to present those opportunities and to bring people together to seize those opportunities. Thank you.
Mr. Flynn, closing statement, please.
4 years ago when I ran for mayor, I promised people honesty and integrity in Oxnard city government. I believe I've delivered. I promised to rebuild the government, and by hiring the most competent city manager arguably anywhere in the state of California, together with the city council, I've delivered. I promised to facilitate business growth through reforming the way we deal with businesses in City Hall through the one-stop shop, and I believe I've delivered. I promised to get streets paved, not in 10 years, but in 3 years. We're in the process right now of delivering that. I've delivered. I promised to balance the budget, truly balance the budget, and provide financial stability for the city. I've delivered. I promised to do something about traffic. We now have the intelligent traffic system. It's getting ready to be launched, a $9 million program. I've delivered. Promised to eradicate graffiti in the city. For the last 10 years, I've delivered. And finally, partnered with education. I've delivered.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Flynn.